Okay. Hello, how you doing? How you doing? God's in control. How's everyone doing? What's up, Carmen? What's up, Carmen? Okay, okay, Miss Michelle. What's up, Miss Michelle? How you doing? How's everyone doing tonight? I was about to say, Michelle, listen. I drank an iced coffee and put espresso in it. But for the most part, I said, let me come on here and see if my YouTube was working. And it's working, so. How you doing today? Yeah, it's working. I can see my comments, Carmen. But anyway, I came on here to talk just a little bit, you know what I mean, um, about my, road in this parenting thing with Joel. So I had Joel in 2014, October. I did labor, 3 days of labor with him. I got put to sleep. I had him. I woke up. Of course, I couldn't hold my baby because I lost too much blood. So he got to see dad first. He got to smell dad first. He got all those things with dad. And here I am coming out of labor, like, where's my baby? And they like, oh, look at your baby. His father, like, here you go, right here. I'm like, man, I don't want to see no picture. Like, I wanted to hold him. But nonetheless, that didn't happen. I was grateful, successful. He was 7 pounds, 4 ounces, 40 weeks. I did the whole thing. He wasn't a preemie. I didn't use drugs when I was pregnant. None of that. Um, so after I had him, when I had him, I lived in a little studio kitchenette, whatever y'all call it. The rooms with the kitchen and everything in it. So I had me, his dad, and all this baby stuff. Brought him home. After 3 days of labor and all that. Now dad was around. Dad signed the paternity paper, all that. Never had an issue. He was a dad. You know what I mean? He still is. I ain't gonna take that from him. You know what I mean? He just don't check on my son. So after I had Joel, dad was around. Dad did what he do. Feeding was a hard part for me because the sound the babies make. Like they choking. Um, I just couldn't, you know, take that in or whatever. So I used to call my mom. I used to call someone. I call my sister, Yolanda, which we call her Shell. Call her daughter Naya. Sometimes I call Tavia. Somebody got to help me with this baby or he won't eat. But my mom used to catch the train and stuff to help me and stuff like that. So I had a little bit of support. And dad used to do it for the most part. So he spent a lot of time with dad. Mom was always at work. So I was always at work. I'm still like that. So when Joel was like, I want to say like 1 year old, I was like, why he not walking? 1 year old? I mean, I had a little goo goo gaga, but It wasn't like your typical, you know what I mean? So then I questioned it when he went to his like 14, 15-month checkup. I'm like he not doing like other kids. Like I got enough nieces, nephews, and babies that I raised. Like Joel just said different. Like what's up with him? I didn't pay attention to like his eye gaze and stuff like that at the time. So I want to say his 18-month checkup. Now the doctor's like, well, how many words do we have? Maybe he had dada, but he didn't have mama, and then he had noise that babies make, and that was it. And she said, well, let's just start with the speech thing, and try to get that going. That could be the delay or whatever. So we did the speech thing. We did the speech thing. I want to say 18 months till he was like 2. That's when you do the autism test, because he didn't start walking until he was 16 months. So that was late too, to me, anyway. Most kids, my mom told me I was walking at 10 months. So, typical babies, they 9, 10, 11 months. Maybe some is delayed a little bit, but he was delayed a lot in that area. So, after 2 years old, now we test for autism, and, it comes back, he's nonverbal autistic. Dad is Jamaican, so dad didn't take that well. Nothing's wrong with me, look at you, and yeah. We argued for a little bit, and I said, well, we're not going to do this in front of these people. We wait till they leave and have that discussion. So, nothing's wrong with him. Nothing's wrong with him. He kicked every worker that came in there to help us. He kicked them out. Until after I, as the mom, had to say, we're only neglecting Joel by doing that. Because you feel nothing wrong with him. It's evident something is wrong with him. He ain't talking to us. He ain't telling us what he wants. He's just showing behavior at this point. I'm talking about it was bad. Breaking stuff, knocking stuff down, throwing stuff at the TV screen. I mean, it was bad. And at that point, I went back to the pediatrician. Now I think he was his 2-year checkup, and I said, "Dad, keep neglecting what I'm supposed to be doing. Can you talk to Dad? Because at this point, somebody got to help me with this." She talked. She was his pediatrician is Jamaican as well, so she talked to Dad, and Dad was like, "Okay," like he was on board for a little minute, and then Dad, straight away kicked everybody out again. Now we're back at square one. You know, um, to the point where when we went outside, people would look like you think we was abusing them and stuff like that, but we weren't. It was just because he couldn't tell us what he want, or things like that. He would do the behavior, falling out. I'm throwing stuff, knocking stuff off shelves. Running up to people, hitting them, pushing other people down. He was doing all that behavior, but nonetheless, Dad didn't feel nothing was wrong with that. That was all normal because he a boy. I mean, maybe somebody else might be going through this now, but that's what I got from his dad. From my standpoint, I knew something was wrong. We got to get this kid some type of help. You know what I mean? So that was my thing. Let's help him where he at, and hopefully we get something from it. So we did all the birth to 3. After birth to 3, it was a roller coaster. I had a lot of DCF. I can tell you, I had a lot of DCF. On a kid that I never beat, never disciplined. And that part of it was rough because they came in like social workers and not birth to 3. Like to teach me the foundation, that's what they're there for. But that's not what they was in my home for. So that wasn't something, I recommend it to anybody that's new coming into it. If they are offer birth to 3 or whatever, ABA services they offer when your kid is 2 and you just finding out, take that year and run with it. It's very important. It'll help you build what you need to keep going in the long haul, like the physical restraints, the stand-up restraints, words to use, how to explain it to someone else, books to read, classes you could take, play dates, parenting communities that's the same thing like you. You'll get a lot of useful things out of that. So I wouldn't say don't do it. I would recommend that you do it. That's that calico cap. But so that was up until birth to 3. Now I'll continue. they only like your little content on YouTube to be 10, 15 minutes at a time. So, with that being said, you know what I mean? Miss Carmen, I'll probably go to TikTok probably about 9:30, 10 o'clock. You feel me? But yeah, so that's the beginning parts to the life of me and my son. And then if you have questions on that section, you know what I mean? I'll respond, I'll answer them. As long as you ain't negative and disrespectful, you know, you talk to me and not at me. We'll have a great relationship on this journey. And like I said, this will be where I discuss me and Joel. So it'll be like I do typical days like with him and stuff like that on here. And I'm just going to figure out where else I might do stuff with him as well. Other than that, it'll pretty much probably my TikTok will just be basic. I mean, you know, people gonna check on them regardless where I go, and I don't mind that. But I probably won't focus, you know, unless it's somebody going through something. I'll stop what I'm doing, and you know, I'm still gonna do what I do. It ain't don't doesn't matter where I'm at and what I'm doing. You know, if somebody got a problem, got an issue, and we need to address it, you know, I'm gonna do that with a genuine heart and all that. So I'm grateful for the people that's watching this, and I'm grateful for those that are watching after. I pray that this may have blessed someone, and hopefully they may have a question on, you know, how exactly I took it. I didn't. I just knew to get help. You know, I didn't decline. I didn't agree with Dad. I took it as what it was. Um, I didn't feel embarrassed. I didn't feel no type of way, and I'm still not embarrassed. I love my son with everything in me. So, out here, the reception is good and everything, Carmen, but shit, get ate up by them bugs, raccoons, and everything. Come on, I'm sitting in the corner underneath the garage door. So y'all have a wonderful evening. Thanks for tuning in. Miss Miss Carmen, I'm gonna holler at you. Love everyone with the love of God. Know that you're enough, and even when it don't feel like it, believe it.